死んだは初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望の匂いだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなに家賃が多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君はまだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ万歳。ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
ランドスライドまで。
出ろ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてね。この世界季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだった大きにまたグレートになるかも。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコ掴んでいいさ。そう言い放せるで。
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Monday. And we have a lot to catch up on. Just like anything else, there's just so much. I was streaming late last night, and there's already a ton more to talk about. Welcome to the world of the internet. My goodness, it never stops. And I have to give my boy Marmillin credit because he showed up for the pre-stream chat grift tax. Appreciate that. You didn't make it last night, and I was very disappointed. We almost had to shut the channel down, but you totally redeemed yourself. Okay. Little Jim Halo says the sequel to Heat being filmed in Italy with money bags. Packing Proton says, damn, or say that is a damn fine big house there tax. Vesk says, like tax. Packing Proton says, did you see the Biden mass conspiracy theories out there? Happened since DOJ files released a few days ago. I didn't see that in particular. No, I didn't. I can't say that I've seen that one. So, but I will say that we have failed as a community, and all we can do is just admit that we have failed, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. And we lost out on the Breaking Bad house. Yeah, it appears that Aiden Ross actually... so Aiden Ross claims that he bought the house, but much like everything Aiden Ross says, it's usually bullshit. So there it is, though. There's, I guess, 20 other people that are bidding for the Breaking Bad house. So somebody's going to get it, and it's not going to be me. Damn it. But yeah, TMZ reports that Aiden Ross is currently in a bidding war with 20 other legitimate offers for the Breaking Bad house. Owners are expected to make a decision in the next 24 hours. Now, Aiden Ross said the other day that he did buy the house. I kind of felt like there was probably more to it because Aiden Ross is such bullshit anyway. But I have a theory. Okay, I have a theory. And someone already said it. I don't know who the people are that own this house, but you can't own a house on stolen land. So if I go and just claim the house as mine, it's on stolen land. You know what I mean? So, like, I could just go and say it's mine because you can't own the house on stolen land. Isn't that how it works? That's what Billie Eilish told me. So I'm going to try that one. I'm just going to claim it. No one is legal on stolen land. But anyway, I just thought it was funny. Obviously, there was no realistic chance for me to get it. But I don't know, man. Part of me doesn't want Aiden Ross to own it. Just because, but at the same time, who cares, really? Okay, so we have a lot going on with the Turning Point USA halftime show, Bad Bunny, the fallout to that, the reactions all over the place. And right now we are currently, I guess there's a new deadline that is set up for the Nancy Guthrie situation. Spoilers, she's probably dead, but there's a new deadline for the Nancy Guthrie situation. And look, the whole thing is just weird. Now we have some updates. We have some updates to this whole story. As a matter of fact, Savannah Guthrie just sent out a video, another weird video. Here we go, right here. Savannah Guthrie, the daughter of the woman that is missing, also NBC, I think NBC Today Show host. Here we go.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I.
Prayers. It's interesting how you're thanking everyone for the prayers. Are you implying that prayer works and that we should be a Christian nation? Because that goes against everything you said to President Trump when you were trying to get him to denounce theories that the Democratic Party were full of evil people.
And that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you,
there's a lot that seems strange to me, namely you and your entire family. And every video that you and your family have uploaded has been strange. There's a lot of red flags surrounding you and your family. Okay, so I can report on a lot of the strange things. You had 6 fingers in that video the other day. You are a professionally media trained person, and every video that gets uploaded seems like bad acting. So yeah, there's a lot of things that seem strange.
Report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
This story is wild, to say the least. Now, I'm not going to do the full breakdown of the whole thing, but the 80-something-year-old woman has been missing for, good Lord, like, is it 9 days now? 9 days that she's been missing. But look, man, I saw this story right here. Where is it at? There was a story surrounding Nancy Guthrie and her mom. And guess what? Stop me if you've heard this one before. But the chef at the Guthrie family's go-to restaurant. Good Lord, at the pop-ups. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. So we've got a favorite restaurant. And it's a Mexican restaurant. All right. It's not a chicken restaurant, but it's a Mexican restaurant. And we've got the chef talking about the Guthries and how much they enjoyed it. All I'm saying is you might want to look into the distribution of any restaurants involved. You might want to. You might want to see what their distribution methods are. Maybe I've seen too much TV in my day. I don't know. Okay. Maybe it's too much TV, but let's see what the latest is.
FBI Special Agent Stuart Kaplan. We'll dig in deep with Stuart. First, though, senior correspondent Alicia Acuna reports live from Tucson. Alicia.
Hi, Harris. No confirmation yet on whether the family has paid that reported $6 million. And we don't know yet if that video that
$6 million ransom. Listen, right now, whoever the writers are of this story needs to be working in Hollywood. This story has such good writing, amazing character development, tension. Like, you got a six-finger lady that's on camera. Like, this is great stuff.
the Guthries released over the weekend prompted any movement by her captors. Right now, we want to give you a bird's eye view of the situation here on the ground from our Fox flight crew. You can see two sheriff's vehicles parked outside the home. This began on Sunday. The department issuing a statement saying their constant presence now is at the request of the Guthrie family. There's this septic tank that was searched this weekend as well. On Sunday afternoon, investigators used a long pole to probe inside. They were focused here for about an hour.
A long pole, you say? Well, I myself have a long pole. What's up, ladies? All right, let's continue.
Hour in the back of Nancy's property. On Saturday night, law enforcement returned to re-walk the terrain around the house using their flashlights in the pitch black dark of night. Then later that night, our Fox Digital team was at Annie Guthrie's house when sheriff deputies went inside. Flashes of light could be seen like coming from a camera. They were coming from the garage and also from another room. The FBI is analyzing a trove of data from not only Nancy Guthrie's home, but her neighbors. This is a photo of one of the cameras removed from the outside of Nancy's house. Even if a camera like this doesn't record someone on the property, the FBI can grab what's known as unseen data.
For example, you have a lot of neighbors saying, oh, my Ring camera never registered anything. Doesn't mean that technology...
Bro, I can't run a fucking red light without getting a fucking ticket. All right? I can't do anything. I can't change lanes without a turn signal without getting a fucking ticket. And you're telling me in this ritzy fucking neighborhood with a woman that's the daughter or a woman that's the mother of a massive media personality, and you're telling me they don't know anything? You got the Salamanca brothers just sitting there, just kidnapping her, demanding $6 million in Bitcoin, and they don't have any leads on anything. This is so stupid.
He has not logged the ability to see it, but didn't think it was big enough to ping that app we may use. So there still could be data there. Cameras facing the Guthrie house right now show very little activity, but I promise you there's an enormous amount of activity going on the digital side.
And Harris here on day 9, still no suspects officially or persons of interest. Back to you.
Alicia, thank you. I
This is crazy.
want to bring in Stuart Kaplan now. He is a former FBI special agent, global security risk management expert, and a criminal defense attorney. Great to have you, Stuart. I want to start with the, as they've been described, kind of cryptic video appeals for the return of Nancy Guthrie. And maybe what would be cryptic about them is, first, it was, emotional, so on and so forth, a lot less of that now. What is the type of communication that we are seeing publicly from that family? How would you describe it?
From my vantage point, those messages are messaging directly the source of whoever has been sending those ransom notes. Now, we don't have the benefit of being able to...
Then if this is the case, then why are they continuing to investigate the family's houses? None of this makes any sense. I personally think that the family are the prime suspects. They just don't want to say it yet. I think that's exactly what's happening right now. I think the family are the suspects, and they don't want to publicly say that yet. So they're playing it up like, we don't have any suspects, but if you have any information, you can. The family are the prime suspects at this point in time. That's why they continue to go back to the home and do the things that they should have done initially. But that's my theory on it.
Actually read those ransom notes. And by the way, there may be some additional messaging that, quite frankly, law enforcement or the FBI is holding close to the vest. But it seemed, at least yesterday, that messaging in a very cryptic but very specific and methodical way was responsive to specific questions or concerns from the ransom note makers or authors.
I think the videos are the videos are a way to get the public to be sympathizing with the family, to try to take any focus off of them. That's what I believe the videos are for. The videos are clearly made with bad acting involved, terrible acting, actually. And I think that's exactly what it's meant to do. It's meant to try and emotionally kind of capture people. That's what this is. Again, just so we're clear, I am a retard. So don't take me seriously on this. These are just my theories
of that ransom note. And that's why I think that there is a lot more information that is unknown to the general public, that specifically is only known to law enforcement. And it's a cat and mouse game at this point.
Look, the money more than quadrupled. We went from 1 million in Bitcoin or thereabouts to 6 million now. The original reward was $2,500.
How do we even know this? Like, we haven't seen, like, maybe my extent to this is what I've covered here on this channel, but like, have we actually seen the ransom notes and the demands? Like, how exactly do we know it? And so it went from 1 million to 6 million. TMZ is the one that's reporting on it, the same TMZ that was mentioned in the Epstein files, and yet TMZ, who reports on everything, doesn't want to report on this, but suddenly TMZ gets the ransom letter as an exclusive, and Harvey Levin is on all of these shows talking about this now, instead of having to face up to the fact that he specifically was mentioned in the Epstein files as someone that could run counter media interference for Epstein. Suddenly, he doesn't have to talk about that.
The FBI bumped that up to 50 last week, 50,000. What do you make of the money play in this whole game?
Well, again, that money play may have been because, quite frankly, either the family resisted or pushed back, or at the direction of law enforcement was not responsive to the ransom note makers or communicators. And in retaliation for non-compliance, they now escalated or increased or heightened the threat level and said, look, we wanted 1 million. And now if you want to see your mother return to you or ever see her alive again, it's now 6 million. And I will say this 5 o'clock deadline cuts both ways, because if nothing happens at 5 o'clock, clearly the ransom note makers lose their credibility. And also,
I don't know if we ever got credibility. He just said credibility. I don't know if we ever got confirmation from that tweet about let's see, Guthrie's mom. Let me see if I can pull that up. Where's Jessica? Right here. So right here, let me see if there's a community note on here. No community note yet. So this is the mother that was kidnapped. Nancy Guthrie in 2020, August of 2020. I'm so looking forward to seeing the Trump family in jail. This is the mother of Savannah Guthrie. The mother's the one that, quote unquote, has been kidnapped. Savannah Guthrie also hated Donald Trump, and now Donald Trump has been assisting and helping the family. So I don't have, like, this was posted at 10 o'clock in the morning 2 days ago, actually, and there's no community note. I see no community note on this at this point in time to tell us that this is fake. So I'm just going to assume that it's real. So there you go with that.
If the Guthrie family doesn't follow through and make that payment again, there may be some unfortunate consequences. This is going to be a game changer this afternoon at 5 o'clock.
So you're saying that they've got to pay that money before 5? $6 million.
Woo!
Well, look, there's a lot of tension behind the curtains. I will say that the Guthrie family, and rightfully so, if it's your loved one, you're willing to pay whatever it takes, whatever you could muster up or afford, even if it's a long shot. On the flip side, law enforcement is wanting to see proof of life. They want to see some additional information so that arguably you don't send $6 million to someone who disappears and they have nothing to show for it. So here again is a cat and mouse game. I will just say this to you, and I've said it from the very beginning. The advancement of technology that is in the toolbox of the FBI is like no other, certainly in 2026. Those assets and resources generally are never known or seen by the general public in a criminal investigation. I again think the breakthrough of this case will be because of the advancement in technology that the FBI has deployed in this case.
What if it's a group of illegal immigrants that kidnapped her? What do you think about that? Group of illegal immigrants kidnapped her. I think that would be pretty interesting. Media would bury this story as soon as that happened.
Data sets, those digital footprints do take some time, but again, I am optimistic that we are at the precipice of this case being broken wide open.
Look, I want to talk about some of the things that have actually gone on with the case. And this is not to impugn anybody in the investigation. I mean, obviously, law enforcement, military. I'm a huge supporter of the blue. But that sheriff has some problems now, because now it's come out by his own admission in one of the previous news conferences that, yeah, hindsight 2020 maybe should not have released the crime scene, which, by the way, tomorrow will have been a week ago. And then they reopened it, and then they went back out this weekend, so on and so forth. All of that could be fantastic. They're gathering things. But in the meantime, everybody trampled that space who was within, 100 miles of it. I'm exaggerating a little bit. Whoever could get there. They were walking all over that crime scene at Nancy Guthrie's house for at least a day. Fox News Digital is reporting staffing shortages delayed the launch of high-tech search aircraft for hours after Guthrie was first reported missing. How big of a problem is that?
Well, look, and I hate again, and I agree with you, I don't want to trample or bash any law enforcement officer, but let's just talk about the real world. Elderly people go missing all the time. Unfortunately, there are a lot of medical emergencies that happen where people lose their awareness and they wander off, and family members they go and find that they're no longer home. What happens is it's a routine 911 call. Local law enforcement arrives on scene and basically goes through the motions of just taking a missing person's report. It's very common. It's very routine. There are no bells or whistles or alarms that go off.
I'm telling you, they're going to find her naked in a grocery store walking around. And then we're going to be told that she just blacked out. And we don't really know what happened. But the reality of it is she was kidnapped. She was kidnapped by a man that runs a chicken joint. You know.
In this particular case, and to your point, the preservation of the integrity of a crime.
Crackle says Nancy is Breaking Bad. What if Nancy Guthrie is a fucking meth dealer? What if she's been running a meth operation for the last several years? I really hope she owns an RV. Nancy Guthrie she's this massive meth dealer. She's throwing pizzas on roofs. It's gonna be great.
scene only can happen on its first step onto that property. And there lies that you can never treat anything
Nancy
in
is
this
the
world
one who
any
knocks.
longer as just a routine, mundane circumstance. You have to always consider the worst case scenario. In this particular case, and by the way, the FBI was not first on scene, and I will tell you, I know they would love to have been first on scene to have preserved the integrity of that crime scene, because there really, quite frankly, is no way to go back and put it.
The reason I'm looking at this story in such a comical way is because the whole story has been comical. Everything about it. Everything. Like, I mean, I saw this headline right here. Makes no sense. Guthrie case unlike any other. Former FBI agent says. I think she's cooking meth. Look at her. You wouldn't suspect that. You would not suspect that. Just like you would not have suspected a high school chemistry teacher that drives a Pontiac Aztek with a missing hubcap. You would have never thought it to be possible. Nancy is the one who knocks.
Here we go on a Monday morning. This is a critical moment. The search for Nancy Guthrie, missing for more than a week. The message the family is now sending to their mother's captor, with a purported second ransom deadline said to be only hours away. So here we go. Good morning, everybody, wherever you are. Hope you're waking up with us today. I'm Bill Hemmer, waking up today in Northern California, the morning after Super Bowl 60. We'll get to all that stuff and take it.
Dana Perino, isn't she married to like a 150-year-old man? I'm sure it was true love, though. I'm sure.
Behind the scenes throughout the next 2 hours. But good morning from California, Dana. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm Dana Perino, and this is America's Newsroom.
Yes.
Did you even go to sleep last night?
Maybe 2.5 hours.
Okay.
But listen, it's worth it. Dana, I tell you every time, it is the place in America once a year where everyone is happy with a smile on their face as they go into the.
She looks 150. Stop. I mean, she might be pushing 60. She looks damn good for her age. She's got to be pushed. She's got to be mid 50s. Like, what is, so it's 53? Okay, she's 53. She looks good for 53.
Than you. Depending on the outcome, a lot of those moods change, but it's just a great American moment. We're going to show you that coming up momentarily.
It absolutely is. Okay, well, we look forward to all of that. More to come on that, but let's get you to the news. Here's what we know on day 9. Police have not identified a suspect in the Nancy Guthrie disappearance. Yesterday, investigators returned to her home, where they were seen searching a septic tank and a manhole cover.
Yeah. You wonder what those clues might be. We'll check that out momentarily with our expert, the FBI.
So alleged ransom note set for the second deadline for Monday. So that's today. Now, I guess that's probably around 5 p.m. What is it? What are y'all in? What time zone is Arizona in? Are you in Pacific? What are you in? Are you in that weird kind of like weird time zone? Or is it 5 Eastern? Is it 5 Eastern? Mountain time? Nobody acknowledges mountain time. No fucking body. There's not a human being on the planet that acknowledges mountain time. Nobody. You're like libertarians. Nobody cares about you. That's essentially what mountain time people are. Like libertarians. Nobody cares. But is it for 5 p.m. EST? Is that what it is?
Saying the second deadline laid out in a purported ransom note is said to be later today, 5 o'clock local time in Arizona. That is 7 o'clock in New York. Now, the Guthries pledged to pay that ransom in a video message to whomever may be holding their mother, Dana.
And Nancy Guthrie and her, Savannah Guthrie and her siblings released that video on Saturday. They addressed their mother's captor directly and pled with them to bring her home.
We received your message and we understand.
There's the 6 fingers.
We beg you.
See? Girl in the middle, Savannah Guthrie. She has 6 fingers. Now, some people have said that that's her sister's finger or whatever. Based on how her hand is, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not seeing it. I see 6 fingers. 6 fingers. Explain this to me.
now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us.
She's a
And
demon.
we will pay.
Alicia Acuna outside Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. Where do things stand on this Monday morning?
Good morning, Dana. This was a very
Somebody said bad DNA. Dude, that might be one of the most savage ways to tell someone that they're ugly. You're like, it's not that you're ugly, you just have bad DNA. Fuck. Like, that just hits at the core, dude. Like, it's like you can't recover from just being told you just have bad DNA. Imagine if you break up with a chick and you're like, you just have bad DNA. Like, God.
busy weekend for investigators in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Let's begin with that septic tank that you mentioned. Sunday, late in the afternoon, a sheriff's deputy and another member of law enforcement went to the back of Nancy's property and they removed what looked like a man cover, and they were focused on that and on this septic tank using a pole to probe this area. They were there for about an hour and then left. On Saturday night, our Fox flight team captured images of investigators searching in the terrain once again in the dark with flashlights. Hours later, investigators show up at Savannah's sister and brother-in-law's house. They spent about 2.5 hours on site. We understand the family was not there, but our Fox Digital team saw agents in there and a lot of what looked like camera flashes going off in the garage and another room. The FBI is also digging into mountains of data from not only Nancy Guthrie's home, but her neighbors. And as it was explained to us, even if a door cam didn't capture an image, the FBI can grab what's known as unseen data. And Dana, what that is.
I'd like to repeat that they are over a week later, they're still investigating and gathering evidence. What? Like, seriously, just call Kyle Rittenhouse. Just let's get this, like, get somebody in there that knows how to get shit done. Like, what are we doing here?
That's when you have like door cam apps and they're smart enough to know if a person is there, but it has to constantly be checking to see if that's something what the user wants. So it still captures that data, and the FBI has that, and there is a lot of it, and they're going to be working on that. No news conferences so far scheduled. The Sheriff's Department says that they will have one if there's a major update. Back to you.
Okay, Alicia, thank you so much. Over to you, Bill.
Dana, we're going to bring in James Gagliano, former FBI supervisory agent. James, good to have you back on today. Let me read you what was sent out from the Sheriff's Department on Super Bowl Sunday. They said the following. They say Nancy Guthrie's investigation's ongoing. Said follow-up continues at multiple locations. No suspects, persons of interest, or vehicles have been identified. No scheduled press conferences. If any significant developments occur in the case, a press conference will be called, as Alicia just said.
I just want to point out this one more time for those that have not seen it. This was the second video from Nancy Guthrie. From Savannah Guthrie. That's Savannah right here on the left. And then you have a scene from The Silence of the Lambs. Okay? So again, if you haven't seen this, this is crazy.
She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
Just saying, shit's weird.
There. What do you make of the septic tank, the visit to the Circle K Convenient Mart? What is important for you right now, James, as you go back over the 48 hours this weekend?
So a lot of you apparently hadn't seen that yet. I do have a video on my D-Day Cobra 2 channel where I covered this. But yeah, so this line, I'm going to play it one more time, but it's word for word what happened in the Silence of the Lambs moment right here. One more time.
She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
Dude, like the delivery and everything was the same. The delivery, I didn't even catch that the first time. So if you look at the delivery from Savannah Guthrie, like she was 100% going for it. She's like, this is where you kind of look in the camera and connect with the audience when you say that line. Holy shit.
She is full of kindness and knowledge.
Look up.
Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
What the hell is happening?
Yeah, Bill, I think it's all part and parcel of the conduct of an investigation that has defied gravity for so long. It just doesn't make sense from so many parts of what traditional kidnappings typically entail. Again, going back to the Lindbergh baby kidnapping or Frank Sinatra Jr. or even Patty Hearst. Is this for profit? Is it for revenge? Is there an ideological bent to this? And that has not been stated or released.
My theory remains the same until proven different. My theory is that there was something, whether you want to call it an accident or not. My theory is that Nancy Guthrie died that night while she was with her family. Whatever reason why, I don't know. But the family felt that they needed to cover it up and make it look like an abduction. That's my theory on it. All right? My other theory is, holy shit, never mind. Fuck my other theory. Because Machine just dropped $500 and says nothing. He says nothing. When you drop 500 and say nothing, there's only one clip to roll. There's only one clip to roll.
And this is how much it was. $500 donation! You know what he says? Nothing. Drops $500 on the table. Looks over at everybody at the poker table. Dropped it on there. Moonwalked right out of the saloon, double doors. Didn't say anything. Spurs on his boots. Couple holstered handguns. Cowboy hat. Thick mustache. Dropped the money on the table, looked at everybody square in their eye, and just moonwalked right out of the saloon double door. Didn't say shit. Didn't say anything. No message there. Didn't say jack shit. And you have to be a cocky son of a bitch. First and foremost, that's not cheap. You got to be a cocky son of a bitch to drop $500 and just bounce the fuck out of there. Don't say nothing. I respect that.
I respect that too. Says nothing. Thank you so much. My goodness, sir. $500 and says nothing. Again, appreciate it. So going back to my theory on this. So my theory is that she died. I don't know if there could be maybe there's an insurance claim tied to this or whatever, but I feel that the family is somehow involved, even if it was accidental. Maybe they wanted to cover something up. That's what it feels like to me. That's why we don't have anything. We have nothing. There's no suspects. There's no fingerprints. There's nothing. They have absolutely no one at all. Nothing. The only people involved in this situation are the family members. That's all they have.
Yet, Bill, I think this is just a law enforcement team, the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Office, that is turning over every stone, following exhaustively every lead, literally going down rabbit holes. And sometimes that's what you have to do. I won't criticize them for going back to the house. I criticized them last week for releasing the crime scene.
Maybe Savannah doesn't need will money. I mean, you're right in theory, but in reality, one thing about these rich people is that they feel that they can always have more money. They all, and by the way, like, we have no idea what someone's finances is. They could be in absolute debt for all we know. We have no idea. But the reality of it is with people like that, there's never enough. Never enough. Now, one theory that could happen, and I'm just throwing it out there. Let's just say the family has this get together. And all of a sudden, a knock at the door. They open the door. That's a young man named Huel. And he's standing there with a guy that looks like Bill Burr. And they walk in and they need little old Nancy to sign over a check. Need to sign. Hey, Nancy, have a seat. Nancy, sit down. We're going to need you to sign this check over to the IRS. And Nancy panics. Nancy gets up and tries to run out the door, trips over the carpet, falls, breaks her neck. Okay? Just saying.
So early, but as was pointed out at the top of this hit, you know, there's a lot of work ongoing behind the scenes on digital imagery. That stuff takes time. Was it a proxy server? Was it an IP address that was masked by VPN? Things like that take time to kind of grind through and build.
That was a Breaking Bad reference for people that are completely confused. It's almost all of my references around this case are jokes about Breaking Bad.
I think that's what they're focused on right now.
Okay, all right, James, we can take that deeper a bit later in our program, but I can tell you what we were all talking about on Saturday out here in California. It was the language of the video message late on Friday night. We will pay, and we want to celebrate her. Can you give us an understanding or?
Well, that's the thing. If you go to Savannah Guthrie's video from today, it kind of contradicts the video from the other day, because the video from the other day says, "We received your message. We understand. We just want our mother back so we can celebrate with her. We will pay." Okay, that was the release from yesterday. Now today, you got Savannah Guthrie claiming, "We believe our mom is still out there. We believe our mom is still out there." It's none of this shit makes sense, dude. None of it. Not one single bit of this makes any sense.
Interpretation as to what goes into that?
Sure, if you listen to the three messages that have been released by the family, Bill, and they're heart-wrenching. You see a family, you know, at the end of their rope, literally beseeching the captors or the abductors to please release them. Bill, I'm still not certain that these notes, this messaging and communications from these so-called abductors can be authenticated yet. And there's a lot to this at the FBI, the Behavioral Analysis Unit, as well as the Crisis Negotiation Unit, are trying to assist the family with. Remember, we in law enforcement cannot compel a family to act in a certain way or tell them that they have to do this. It's all up to them. And Bill, here's the chilling piece of this. We're hurtling towards a deadline right now, 5 o'clock, right? Which is the second deadline that's been laid out by the supposed kidnappers. I don't even think paying the ransom money would be dispositive in this case. Could these be fraudsters? Could they be opportunists? And I think that's what the family and law enforcement is having to be forced to deal with right now.
All right, two quick last questions here. What's more significant, the first deadline or the second? Or do we get a third possible?
They make no sense. And here's why, Bill. Typically in a kidnapping, if it follows typical protocols, there are multiple deadlines set when the kidnapper wants to show how serious they are. If you do not comply with the first deadline, you will receive negative consequences. And those, you can think about all the awful things that could happen. In this instance, where there doesn't appear to be any negative consequences, we're still not 100% certain that Miss Guthrie is alive because there's been.
I'm convinced there is no kidnappers at this point in time. That's based on all of the shit that we have seen up to this point. Here's what I believe. I believe there are no kidnappers, and I believe that someone within the family is responsible for whatever happened. That's what I believe, and that's why it's also messy, and that's why none of it makes any sense, because it's being done. They're flying by the seat of their pants. They're just making shit up as they go. There's nothing to trace back to this. And is there any, again, I'm asking this question right now. Do we know if there is any history of Savannah Guthrie and Harvey Levin being friends over the years? Because if you were to kidnap the mother of Savannah Guthrie, why wouldn't you send a ransom letter to NBC News, who she works for? Why would it go to TMZ? Just, that doesn't make sense. She works for NBC. Doesn't make sense.
And no proof of life. And yeah, Bill, I wouldn't be surprised if there was an additional deadline. Somebody's either playing this out because A, they're trying to mask the fact that they do not have her, or they're just trying to lead the family on and try to get any money out of them that they can.
Wow, so cruel. The other point that was brought up is that the first message apparently had a request for Bitcoin, and the second message said a US dollar amount, which has led a lot of people like yourself to think about maybe this coming from outside the country. Right now, we at least do not know that. James, thank you for coming.
Okay, so I'm not an expert on Bitcoin, but isn't Bitcoin traceable? Like not Bitcoin and stuff, but like in order to cash Bitcoin out, you can't spend Bitcoin within the wallet. Like you've got to cash it out. So let's say they pay $6,000 or $6 million in Bitcoin, but in order to cash that out, don't you actually have to yeah, but I'd cash out Russia or North Korea. Yeah, it is, but difficult to track. Yes, it's traceable. How you use it, correct. IP address should be traceable. Yes, Bitcoin is traceable. Because I still don't understand Bitcoin and crypto and all that other shit. I have no idea. I have a little bit of stock in Bitcoin. I don't know. It fluctuates all the time. So, Jeremy throwing Levin under the bus, spoken like a true Mossad agent. Well, Harvey Levin threw himself under the bus when they laughed about Charlie Kirk's murder. When they thought that Charlie Kirk's assassination was funny, and then they lied. They tried to lie to people about that, like people weren't smart enough to figure that out. And I'm never going to forget that. They literally cheered when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Cheered like they're watching a sporting event. Disgusting. Checking it out with 20 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. Thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. Brockatron says, my leftist friend has insane levels of TDS. Can't go 10 minutes at a gathering without saying something political or anti-Trump. He thinks the Minnesota stuff is tyrannical and that ICE isn't law enforcement. And he didn't even know Pretty Stupid's story. Yeah, I mean, look, at some point in time, and again, I'm not of the mindset to tell anybody what to do. If you're asking, I will be happy to give my advice, but ultimately you're welcome to do whatever you want. My advice on it is I have a simple philosophy. I don't care what you believe in life. I don't care what your opinions are. I don't care what your politics are. Whatever. I don't care what your opinions on movies are. I don't care what your opinion on sports are. The moment you become impossible to be around is the moment that you will no longer be part of my life. Doesn't mean you have to stop. It just means if you're that deranged and that lost, I don't want anything to do with you. And it sounds like this person is so far gone that it's just pointless to even try to, deal with it. Miniature Vontek says, not to be that asshole, but if dark forces are willing to go through the trouble of kidnapping a rich man and demanding Bitcoin while it's down, maybe they're sure it's going up soon. Silver linings. Damn, Ministry of Wrongthink took that to a whole different level. Yikes. And I appreciate it, by the way. I mean, I've turned this whole thing into just a comedy show of like memeing on Breaking Bad. So, Munchie Ninja, to say that very slowly, mistakes have happened in the past. What if she went to visit a certain vacuum store? That vacuum store is not too far from Tucson, right? Where's that vacuum store at in Breaking Bad? Maybe she's got a new life. Maybe she's running a Cinnabon right now somewhere in, I don't know, Oklahoma. I think that's where he went. Nebraska, where was it? So there you have it. Or maybe she's in New Hampshire. Yeah, you never know. Let's see. Pyrofusion Dancers, I hated Breaking Bad, couldn't watch it. Bro, you've like, Breaking Bad is phenomenal. Omaha, that's right. It was in Omaha. That's right. Yeah, Breaking Bad is one of the greatest shows ever made. And that's like an objective fact. Like, there are few things. There's only a few things in entertainment that are universally accepted, and Breaking Bad being one of the greatest shows ever made that's just a fact. It really is. Let's see. John for 10 says, how would anyone know if they paid in Bitcoin anyway? Is Bitcoin untraceable? I am not a smart man. Yeah, those are the questions I was asking earlier. Null Face says, why the hell would you risk getting Nancy back alive by simultaneously turning up the heat by telling everybody to be on the lookout for anything suspicious? Make it make sense. I know. And the other thing too, like, let's just pretend for a minute that this is real. Let's pretend this is real for a minute. The moment that President Trump got involved would be the moment that the quote unquote kidnappers would be out. Like, they would probably have just said, no, dude, this isn't like a local situation anymore. At that point in time, you're just going to see Nancy just randomly wandering around out and about because they've said, nope, abort mission. Like, this was a local situation with a very, very prominent member of the media within this local community. We felt like we could do it. Now Trump, somebody she hates, now Trump is involved. No, dude, we have to get abort mission immediately. Let's see. Discostu says, Bad Bunny's boyfriend refers to him as Bad Booty on Taco Tuesday. Damn. Didn't need to hear that one. The 1A train says she decided to go run Los Pueblos Hermanos. Trish Page with a gifted membership. Thank you, Trish. Appreciate it. Little Jim Salo. I got that one. Let's see. Little Jim Salo says there is a video of an armored car being robbed. Like right now? What? I mean, you sent this a little earlier, so I might have missed it. An armored car being robbed? I don't see anything right now. Let's see here. Jay's half Asian son says RIP dad tags. Packet Proton says, we never did get part 2 of Screaming at Ticket Lady from 2 months ago. Remember this tax? I do remember that. Florida man with a plan says Savannah Guthrie's hubby worked for the Clintons. Not surprised. Darth Gavel says, even the ancient Egyptians were living on stolen land. Hunter says, Christ is king. I'm done. Forgive me. Daniel Moore says, she's dead. It's Jover. Southeastern Kaiju says, Jeremy, don't diss the process. Top men are on it. Daniel Moore says, they're giving the family a false sense of security by going after the obviously fake ransom notes so they can investigate the family more closely. That's where I'm at with it. I absolutely believe that. Schrodinger chat says, Black and White Sports latest video gave you a shout out. They're awesome. Awesome channel. Daniel Moore Business breaking ice. The one who knocks the bucket. Ministry of Wrong Thinks says, the mother acknowledges mountain time. Olympian Product says, I acknowledge mountain time. Hell Rats. Is it Hell Rats? Is that how I say it? New member. Thank you. Cole Hauser says, do you think Savannah was trying to cover an affair? It happens. You never know. That's where the Ted theory comes into play. Dracking 1989 says, six finger grippy. Nah. Darth Gavel says, Nancy Guthrie has bad genes. Cole Hauser says, remember Governor Mark Sanford? He went missing. They sent search teams looking for him. They found him in Argentina with a mistress. What's old Nancy Guthrie up to? Nancy Guthrie got her a man. That's what's going on. Nancy Guthrie is just partying. She's like, she done found her a man and she is just partying her ass off. She's like, I ain't got long on earth, but I'm going to have fun while I'm still here. That's what's happening. Mm-hmm. Yep. What time is the deadline? Well, the deadline apparently, I think it's at 5 Mountain Time. I don't know what time is it Eastern, I guess is what I would want to know. Because if it's at 5 Eastern, that's a few minutes from now. That's going to be interesting if it's at 5 Eastern. So 7 Eastern is when it is. Okay. 7 Eastern. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Let me see if there's any updates right now. What is that right there? Okay. All right, right here. Hang on. Veteran homicide investigator who worked with 48 Hours and CBS News for on-air expert says key elements of true kidnapping aren't present in the Nancy Guthrie case. Listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. This has been bullshit from the start. I know everybody agrees with me at this point, but at the forefront of this, I said, this is a bullshit case.
I don't think she was kidnapped. We would have heard, listen, there would have been a video, there would have been a photograph, there would have been something, a lock of hair, a drop of blood, something mailed to somebody so they could verify, yes, in fact, these people have my mother. Kidnappers want to get paid quickly. They don't want this thing to linger. If you're negotiating with another drug dealer in South America somewhere, it could go on for a few weeks, a month, until they get bored and decide this is not worth it. And it's either pay up or we're going to kill this person. And it's always a negotiation, right? The first figure they throw out is never what actually gets paid, like any good business deal. There's going to be a negotiation, but it's going to be a fast and hard one. And there's been no negotiations. No one's called up and said, hey, where's my money? That hasn't happened. For the simple reason is nobody's kidnapped her, I don't think. If you're a good kidnapper, you're going to grab the medication on the way out the door because you're going to have to take care of her. You're going to have to keep her alive and healthy, right? So it shows a total lack of planning. The total lack of forensic evidence of anyone being in that house, of grabbing her, is another clue that she wasn't kidnapped. You know, you walk in somewhere, you're going to leave something. I don't care who you are. You're going to leave some DNA, some footprints, some fingerprints, blood if anyone gets cut on glass or whatever. You know, listen, the FBI is great at crime scene processing. They've been processing this thing for, 6, 7, 8 days now. They've got nothing. If they had something, we'd have heard about it.
I agree completely. I don't think she's been kidnapped. I think the kidnapping is a cover-up. think it's a complete cover up. And now I will, if Nancy Guthrie claims that her and her mother were walking around at 2 a.m. going to get a Subway sandwich, and then suddenly there was 2 or 3 men approached them and said, "This is MAGA country," and they suddenly attacked Nancy and they drug her away and they said, "We'll be in contact." Yeah. I think that's probably what the next story is going to be. It's going to be MAGA's fault. All MAGA's fault. Minister of Thing says, Jeremy, did you see the reports that ICE is in Italy for the Olympics? Is that true? Why? I haven't seen that report, so I can't confirm if it is or isn't. So I haven't seen that one. Lepko says they're moving much better. Took years to get a pipe bomber. Just saying. Again, $500 and says nothing. You understand how baller that is to just drop 500 and say nothing? That's how badass it is. All right. As a matter of fact, for those that have not seen, let's see. If you've never seen this, so all of you remember the Juicy Smollett story, and you remember how much the media virtue signaled on it. I've shown this recently, but it's important right now when we're at the height of this Guthrie situation to make you understand what these leftist people are capable of, okay? So Jussie Smollett was an actor on a show. God, I can't remember the show. Anyway, he was an actor, a leftist actor. And he obviously hates Trump and had TDS. And so he hired 2 giant black dudes to pretend to be white MAGA people beating him up at 2 a.m. in Chicago screaming MAGA country, you know, because everybody thinks Chicago 2 a.m. MAGA country. So anyway, the reports came out that he faced a racist, homophobic attack, and everybody jumped on the story. Every mainstream outlet, every celebrity, sports people, LeBron James, all these people virtue signaled, politicians, Kamala Harris, all of them, even a bunch of conservatives jumped on the bandwagon. Guess what? It was all a fucking lie. And these are the men right here that Jussie Smollett hired. This is them retelling of the moment. And it's one of the funniest things ever. It's one of the funniest things ever. Listening to them retell this story is absolute gold.
Our beautiful bench. This is where we waited for Jussie to come before we attacked them. So we got here with 10 minutes to spare, and we had to plan our escape route to survey the land. His building is actually right here, right above the stairs that we're going to attack him at. We made sure we got there at 2 a.m. sharp. On the dot. We had no phones because he did not want us to bring any phones. He said, so we don't lose them. I don't know if that's really the reason, but you can deduce your own reason. So 2 a.m., he was nowhere to be found. He was not there. So we were like, damn, what do? We didn't have no way of contacting him. He had no way of contacting us. So we waited here for about, 4 minutes?
It was about 4 minutes, but it felt like forever.
Because it was cold as balls. So I saw him out the corner. Because it was cold as balls. So I saw him out the corner of my eye, and I was like, okay, that's him. Let's go. We gotta go get this Empire fat. Yeah, that's him. That's him. Is that him?
That's that nigga.
It's that nigga.
Get that nigga.
Oh, he's moving fast. Come on, let's get him.
Get that nigga.
Let's get him. As we crossed the street, we said, hey, to get his attention.
Hey, Nick.
Hey. He turned around, looked at us, And that's when we started yelling the famous slurs he wanted us to yell. Hey,
aren't you that Empire?
Empire fat nigga. It's MAGA country. Yeah. And then he said, what did you say to me? And then that's when I threw the first punch at him. I held the blow because I didn't want to hurt him, of course. So I made it look real, but I held it. Then we started tussling, moving around, and then I threw him to the ground. He wanted it to look like he fought back. That was very important for him because he said, hey, don't just beat my ass, make it look like I'm fighting back and whatnot. So we did that, and then I threw him to the ground. And after I threw him to the ground, he had no bruise. I wanted it to look more real. So then I threw him to the ground. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a noogie. So I went like this. Why did I do that? To give him a scar, to give him a mark, to make it look real, like he really did get his ass beat. After I did that, I fake kicked him. I don't know what he was doing. I wasn't paying attention.
That's where I came around with the bleach, the infamous bleach in the hot sauce bottle, poured it on his shirt. Then I finally put the rope around his face. I did not put it around his neck. I just placed it on his face, and that's when we took off.
So it's not crazy to think that there's some really shady shit going on here. All right. Some really shady shit with this Savannah Guthrie story. We will see what ultimately comes of this, but I just don't trust it. There's way too many red flags surrounding this. And, you know, we're just going to have to see. This will be the last topic, or this will be the last segment on this, and then we're going to move on to the Super Bowl stuff right here. But this is the last update that we have right here.
For All Things America Reports, the story with Martha, who's never boring, starts right now.
Thank you very much, you guys. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum. And of course, this continues to be the story. A reported second ransom deadline issued by Nancy Guthrie's potential.
And again, in my mind, there is no deadline. There is no kidnappers. In my mind, here's what I believe as it stands right now. There are no kidnappers. There's no deadline. And Nancy Guthrie is not alive. That's what I believe right now. And I believe that the family knows all of this.
Potential abductors would be just 4 hours from right now. A very tight window, if indeed that is a real deadline. Now, TMZ reporting, quote, a Bitcoin account allegedly set up to accept funds in exchange for Nancy was still sitting empty this morning. Law enforcement activity at Nancy's home and her daughter Annie's home happening over the weekend, and Savannah and her family making another heartbreaking plea for their mother.
We received your message. And
Yeah, we've seen this. We've seen this 100 times.
We beg you now.
We've seen this 100 times.
Word for word, trying to discern the messages that are in this for these potential kidnappers. But there are so many big questions looming in this story.
Somebody said, how did Jeremy get so smart? I'm not smart. Everybody else is retarded. So am I. They're just more retarded than me. So it's not that I'm smart. It's that everybody else is retarded, and I'm just not as retarded as some of them.
Former FBI Special Agent Jonathan Gilliam is going to join us in just a moment. He has some very interesting thoughts on what's at play here. And Fox is live on the ground in Tucson. Former prosecutor Joshua Ritter is standing by. But first, let's go to senior correspondent Alicia Acuna, who has been digging into this case very closely on the scene. Hi, Alicia.
Hi, Martha. Regarding that TMZ report that the Bitcoin address attached to the ransom note has not received funds, they write, quote, it is unclear how long it typically takes for accounts to update. But as of now,
we have no money transferred. Even though Savannah Guthrie says on camera that we will pay the ransom. This is fucking crazy.
Confirmed balance in the publicly viewable account stands at zero, with no transactions recorded. But remember, there was a second note that was sent, but only to one local TV station. That note has not been made public, and it is entirely possible the person who wrote it gave a new and different Bitcoin address. The Guthrie say they will pay, and if and when that happens, it's not long before the recipient gets their money.
When you want to transfer Bitcoin around the world, it's going to take you anywhere from about 10 minutes to 1 hour, depending upon the amount and the speed in which you've asked for this to go, for it to get from one place to the next place. It's still an open-ended question about whether this is traceable or not. It can be at times, sometimes it's not.
Investigators had a very busy weekend. Sunday afternoon, our Fox flight team shot this video of two members of law enforcement in the back of Nancy Guthrie's home, probing what looked like a septic tank. They were there for about an hour. On Saturday night, our Fox digital team was at Annie Guthrie and her husband's home when authorities arrived.
You can tell when Jeremy's out of content. He's balls deep in this. Bro, I have so much shit to talk about. I'm genuinely interested in this shit. All right? I've spent over an hour on this shit when I could have been talking about the turning point stuff and the Super Bowl. But I am fascinated by this because I believe that a person that hates Donald Trump, that is virtue signaled for the Democrats who wanted Trump to denounce Democrats as evil pedophiles, is going to be exposed. And I'm having a blast.
This happened around 8 o'clock in the evening. They went inside, and flashes of light, like what you get from a camera, could be seen coming from both the garage and another room in the house. And from what we understand, Martha, the family was not there at the time, but law enforcement was there for about 2.5 hours. Martha?
A lot of questions. All of that raises, Alicia, thank you very much. With that, we bring in Jonathan Gilliam, former FBI special agent, worked on criminal and counterterrorism squads, and also served as a Navy SEAL. Jonathan, it's good to have you with us. Thank you very much for
good to be with you,
joining
Martha.
us today. So,
and just so I know I've played this several times, but just so everybody can hear it one more time, this is what I am referencing right here.
All right, while we're denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep
state. The subject. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats, not run by Republicans.
Republican Senator Ben Sasse said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories. Why not just say it's crazy and not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste a whole show. You start off with white supremacy. I denounce it. You start off with something else. Let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
I do have one more.
Let me just tell you what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia, and I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with it.
But there's not a satanic pedophile cult being run by.
I know
you
nothing
don't know
about
that? Okay.
No, I don't know
You
that.
just this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay.
Trump is such a boss, dude. He's such a boss. So that's that. And along with the fact that reportedly, this is Nancy Guthrie, the mother, in 2020. Reportedly, I have not seen this to be confirmed to be true or to be fake, but it's posted and it's on the internet. Nancy Guthrie says, I am so looking forward to seeing the Trump family in jail.
What stands out to you, at this point? We're just a few hours away. You hear this word that there's no money in this one account. One reference to U.S. dollars, making some people think this is a foreign actor, if indeed there is somebody, who is an abductor here. What do you make of all of it right now, Jonathan?
Well, I've been saying all week that we definitely have one crime that occurred. We know that Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped or was removed from that house, and that there was some violence that occurred there. We still don't know if, in this day and age, with AI and with the ability of people to scam people online, we still don't know if this ransom is real. Now, the FBI potentially or most likely knows more than we do in the local law enforcement, but I've said all along, AI, we look online and we see AI videos of things that just aren't real, but look absolutely real. So it's hard to tell. We're in uncharted territory here when it comes to these types of crimes. These Bitcoin kidnappings happen all the time in other countries like Mexico or someplace like that, but they are overt with what they want, and they have open communication, and they show.
So wait a minute. Are you saying they're bringing Mexican traditions here to the United States? What it sounds like to me.
Proof of life, typically. The way this is going now is that we still don't know the reality of Nancy Guthrie and who these people are that are trying to extort these millions from Savannah Guthrie and her family. So it's a very perplexing place that we're in. But what would be very interesting, if the deposit goes through and the transaction goes through, this will be an amazing thing to watch the FBI and to see how they react globally and to see if they can track this.
Yes. I think about other old kidnapping cases, and we're going to go into some detail on some of these in a moment, but where bags of money were exchanged. In one very high-profile case, they asked for $10 bills. In this case, you've got this request for USD, but you obviously would not want to release the money until you knew, you wouldn't want to hit send on that money, on that Bitcoin, until you knew that you would have the release of this person. And it, from what we know, and I hope there's more at work here, they don't have any of that kind of proof yet.
Right. We haven't been told, and not that we would be told, but we haven't seen any open lines of communication. We've seen these back and forth through letters or emails that go to news organizations and then social media posts by the Guthries. So it's just a very uncertain thing when you are at this point, because if this is some kind of a scam, like you see with Indian from India, you see those types of money scams.
He was like, I'm going to be racist. Fuck, I'm on mainstream. I can't say it like that. He wanted to say it.
Social media posts by the Guthries. So it's just a very uncertain thing when you are at this point, because if this is some kind of a scam, like you see with Indian from India, you see those types of money scams. From Nigeria, you see a lot of scams from there. If that's what this is, then that $6 million is going to go away, and nobody will still know where Nancy Guthrie is. The other problem is, if it is real, we may still not know.
What? What did he say? Let's back that up. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a little bit of coded language. What did he say?
If that's what this is, then that $6 million is going to go away, and nobody will still know where Nancy Guthrie is. The other problem is, if it is real, we may still not.
I got to see what the closed captions say. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. It says if it is real. All right.
No.
Yeah. There's a lot at play here. And going back to Alicia's reporting about the FBI going back to Annie Guthrie, the sister's home, and Alicia reported that it was understood that that no one was home at that residence, but that there were flashes going off, pictures being taken in the garage and other parts of the house. What does that tell you, Jonathan?
Well, it tells me that they're looking at particular things. I mean, they are now focusing. They went back to Nancy's house several times. And so they're either buttoning up things that they didn't actually look at earlier in the investigation, or they are acting on evidence or tips that they may have gotten. And so the fact that they're at those two places, I mean, her daughter and her husband were the last two people to see her and to drop her off. So it's not unrealistic that law enforcement would go back there and that they would become.
Her daughter and husband were the last two to see her and drop her off. I mean, again, a lot of these people that are they're scared to say it because they're on mainstream. And of course, they don't want to be, held accountable and all that. And they're too, they take themselves too seriously to so for me, for all of my theories, I just say my theories are just my theories. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a retard. And you should not believe a damn thing I say in terms of any of this shit right here. I'm just purely speculating and memeing the fuck out of it. With that said, if you use common sense, it's not that complicated to see what's going on here. It's very obvious what's happening.
A suspect of this. But for them to go back now and photograph things, they're going in with equipment that looks through cell phones and computers. It tells me that there are some investigators, most likely, that are keying in on them for one or more reasons.
Wow. All right. We will watch what happens over the next couple of hours. We're definitely in a new world with AI and, Bitcoin and all of these very untransparent ways of communicating, everything being.
Let's see. The Weasel says, Jeremy says he's straight. I don't believe him. Well, just talk to your mom. In about 9 months, you'll have a new little brother. You're welcome.
Done on social media instead of phone calls. So we'll see, Jonathan, where this whole tragic situation goes. We hope it ends well. Jonathan Gilliam, thank you very much.
Martha is a very serious.
He was trying to talk.
I wish I heard the last thing that he said there, but obviously this is a very serious situation. We're grateful to Jonathan Gilliam, former SEAL, former FBI special agent, joining us now, joining us moments ago. All right, so reports of a 24-hour FBI command post in Arizona as investigators hunt for suspects or persons of interest. They still say they have no suspect and no person of interest.
That's a nice ass house, by the way. That is a nice ass house. And I'm not saying it's like some crazy, I am curious what the room is there. Is that like a pool house? Is that a mother-in-law suite? I am curious what that second building is. But that's a really nice place. It's a beautiful area too, from what it appears to be. And no cameras, apparently. 0 cameras, guys. No security. Nobody has cameras there, apparently. It's just so safe. It's just so safe that nobody has cameras. Still like this is proud of you, Jeremy. I just hit 896 subs. Let's go. Congratulations, man. Daniel Moore says a few opportunities have come up recently in politics for me. I'm debating on leaving college. These opportunities normally don't come up again. What would you do? Well, I would not. I definitely would not take my advice. But I mean, if you're asking me what I would do, with few exceptions, I believe that college is a scam. There are exceptions, but generally speaking, I believe college is a scam. I think the entire school system is a scam as well. But again, only you know what your path is. But I think it's a fucking scam. Massive scam, actually. McCox says maybe her mom was like a cat, knew she was passing, so she went somewhere where we could find her. 2 years later, LFG, Tommy boy. MAGA Mike says, bro, I just got on my phone and seen your stream and it's YouTube featured. Let's go. A lot of people tell me we're YouTube featured. I don't really know what that means, but it's awesome. I appreciate it. I think that might be specific for your account, maybe because you watch me a lot. I don't know how that works though, but either way, I'm happy that it's featured. JC, let's see. JC really says crypto transactions are mathematically linked. The security comes from difficulty in associating a wallet with a person. Once they have that, they have everything. There you go. See, and I don't know anything about this stuff, so. Lapco says Trump's help is to throw them off. He said the Epstein files were a distraction. We thought Donald J. Trump liked them young. We were wrong. Candace got this. Good old Candace. She's on top of it, guys. Piano Dean says, I can finally say I've achieved my lifelong dream. I was one of the Bushes in the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime. Who's jealous? Bush gang. Hashtag never too late to be a plant. Well, congratulations, Piano Dean. Very happy for you. Vic Chavez says, maybe they were running low on jerky. John says, say her name. Say her name. Wired Robot says, Breaking Bad takes place much in New Mexico. New Mexico is in mountain time. That's a pretty good point, actually. John Jones says that there's always Belize. I'll send you to Belize. Maga Mike says, stop following and supporting all fake comedians attacking Trump. They pretend to be one of us, but they're just Hollywood sellout douchebags. I agree with that. Maga Mike says, Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped by ICE and is now in El Salvador prison. My God, what have we done? Lapco says, I want to drop 500 and say something in Yiddish. Do it. Keenan says, in House of Cards, what do you think of the Doug and Rachel storyline? I mean, Doug needed some type of storyline to kind of give him a little more depth. So I actually thought that was a really good storyline because it did show, Doug, it gave him some personality and some development. So I thought it worked really well. Wizard Man says, dude in the black shirt looks like Kata's big bro. Cole Hauser says, I have an alibi for my whereabouts the night of. Keenan says, did you see the movie How to Eat Fried Worms? I have not seen that one. Alex Aerocave says, CobraCast I shirt win. Mark Reality says, Savannah Guthrie is just another perfectly sane, completely normal, liberal white woman. Absolutely nothing shady about this at all. Ugly Duckley says, daily expression of appreciation that Beardo is not on this stream tax. Savage. Incoherent Name says, the fake kidnapping plot reminds me of Gone Girl starring Ben Affleck. Excellent film if you haven't seen it. It is a great movie. Kelly also says, follow the money or who needed TV ratings. Sus. Daniel Moore says, Tatum says she's dead. I think it's almost guaranteed that she's dead. I don't think there's a chance in hell that this woman is still alive at this point in time. But I think she's been dead from the get-go as soon as this all went down. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl and the Turning Point USA alternative halftime show, because a lot has been discussed about this. There's a lot to kind of go through all of this. So first and foremost, Bad Bunny made an appearance last night at the Super Bowl, and everybody has had an opinion on this, yada, yada, yada. And so whoop-de-doo, Bad Bunny. I can't tell you I've ever heard a Bad Bunny song. I don't know any Bad Bunny songs, but whatever. It happened, and there was a lot of reaction surrounding it. However, Turning Point USA had an alternative halftime show, and man, oh man, it blew up last night. So the Super Bowl, when Bad Bunny comes on and does an entire halftime performance with no English speaking, a lot of people tuned out. A lot of people stayed watching it. And, there's going to be insane numbers surrounding that because the Super Bowl has over 100 million people watching it. This is always how it's going to be. No surprise. Turning Point USA had an alternative halftime show, and it pulled at least 6 million people away from the Bad Bunny Super Bowl performance. This was as of last night. Well, we actually have some updated numbers, and here is Andrew from Turning Point USA talking about the numbers that they pulled. Here we go.
Especially when we saw those live stream concurrent numbers just keep climbing. I mean, I think there was like 1 million people before the show even started, and YouTube for just the Turning Point channel alone got as high as 6.17 million live concurrents. If you add that up, we're actually working with a third-party firm right now this morning to find out what sort of a Nielsen equivalent would be for this. But when you add up that live stream plus Rab's live stream plus on just YouTube, we're just talking YouTube. We're not talking about other broadcast channels or anything like this. And so it's Charlie's, Turning Points, Rab's. If you put those 3 streams together, I think you already have the #1 YouTube stream of all time. We're going to confirm that. I'm not here definitively saying that, but it was easily number 2 We'll see if we were the number one live stream in the history of.
Yeah, I think that it's going to end up being number 2 or number 3. I need people to understand how massive this is. The Turning Point USA live stream from last night will either end up being either the second or the third highest, most viewed concurrent live stream in YouTube history. One more time. The second or third most viewed live concurrent stream in YouTube history.
YouTube. That's not counting Rumble. That's not counting broadcast. That's not counting all of these other areas. So we know for a fact that about 25 million streams last night, which is like amazing. And the way Nielsen does their numbers is they'll usually put a 2.5x on that because they're depending on groups watching it together. And I had people texting me, parties of 50 watching the game saying, hey, we're tuned into the halftime show. So I mean, it's going to be an estimate, but we're talking 40, 50 million people tuned in to Turning Point USA's The All-American Halftime Show. So just an amazing, amazing success. And I will tell you, this is a shot across the bow, Steve. There are media executives, advertising executives all across the country that took note last night, and some of them are pretty nervous this morning.
And why are they nervous, Andrew? You guys, this has been Charlie's dream for a long time. And after his assassination, I know you and Tyler and the team, Erica,
I got to say, with all the stuff following Bannon right now, it's kind of wild that they're still talking to Steve Bannon. Woof.
Focus on, hey,
Bannon's got a lot of shady shit around him and the Epstein stuff. Holy crap.
To do this. And you guys put it together. Rav helped, other people helped, Robin Parker Sig and so many other people had your guys back. Why should they be nervous this morning?
Well, listen, I mean, if you assume about 125 million people tune in for the big game, well, if you are an alternative programming option that just took 40 or 50 million eyeballs away from that, the ad implications, the ad dollar implications are huge, Steve. And that's one win, just basically showing the world that you can do this. The second win, though, is like, hey, next year we want to invite some of these big boys to come alongside us.
Well, so right here I have this. Turning Point Super Bowl halftime show appears to have broken the number 2 record for concurrent YouTube live stream viewers. So here you have right here. This is I don't even know what this is. So soft landing telecast, right? So right at 8 million concurrent viewers right there. So that's the India's lunar landing broadcast, still the undisputed all-time record. That would be the number 2, some Brazilian thing, and then Turning Point. But Turning Point now, if you look at the numbers, Turning Point, I think if you got the final numbers, I think that would put them slightly ahead of number 2. Shocking. I know the most viewed thing ever is from India. But the fact that Turning Point USA is even like in this conversation is crazy, dude. It's absolutely crazy. And as I said, when you bring the whole context into it and all of that, like you have very, very dumb people that don't understand margins and market share. And I can't help those people. Those are very stupid people, and those people are always going to be stupid. We obviously, here at Geeks and Gamers, we cover sports, we cover theme parks, we cover entertainment, we cover everything. And market share matters. And obviously, if you're going to compare number to number, there's no comparison. Of course, the Super Bowl is going to dwarf anything that Turning Point USA can do. That's not the point here. The point is cutting into the market share. And if a company bases everything off of margins, and suddenly that company sees anywhere from a 7 to 10% decrease in what those margins were, that company is in panic mode. Seriously, you have no fucking idea. And when you're talking about an event the size of the Super Bowl, if they lost anywhere from 6-7% to 10%, they will be panicking. if that happened. Now, I don't know that happened, but it certainly did happen. That like they cut into it in some capacity. And that's a huge win for Turning Point USA. Now, when you look at the opportunity they have moving forward, this is something I've said many times. No disrespect to Kid Rock, but Kid Rock cannot be the headliner moving forward. It's not to say he can't be part of it. And, Kid Rock has helped lay a great foundation, and he has been instrumental in what he's done. But some bigger heavy hitters are going to have to be involved if they want to make some real noise. Now, what's interesting is while all this is going on, I don't know what to make of this. I don't know if this is legit or not. But there's a lot of people that are talking about this right now. But let me see if I can find it because I did have it bookmarked because this is kind of a thing. But apparently Drake is now following President Trump and JD Vance on Instagram all of a sudden. Now, I'm not a fan of Drake's music, what little I've heard of it, but he is one of the biggest musicians in the world. And so, there you have it. So now Drake is following President Trump and JD Vance. I don't know what the context here is. I don't know what this is supposed to represent, but everybody's kind of reacting to this news. So time will tell. Now, TMZ did put up a poll. And that poll did not go very well. They did Kid Rock versus Bad Bunny. And last I looked, it was like 72% Kid Rock. And I'm sure that TMZ was not happy with that. And so, yeah, that was shocking to see that many people actually preferred it over, the Bad Bunny performance. Now, with the Bad Bunny performance, I hated it because I didn't understand a damn word that he said. And I thought it was very disrespectful to, American culture because, we all know what they were going for. But apparently Megyn Kelly was on with Piers Morgan, and she popped off at Piers Morgan because Piers Morgan was praising last night's halftime show with Bad Bunny.
I'm sorry, Piers, but to get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States?
I agree.
We have 310 million who don't speak a lick of Spanish. This is supposed to be a unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos, not for...
Damn, Megyn Kelly is fired up.
A unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos, not for one small group, but for the country. We don't need a black national anthem. We don't need a Spanish speaking, non-English performer, and we don't need an ICE or America hater featured as our primetime entertainment.
Agreed.
Okay, what is the national language, officially the national language of the United States of America?
English. And there's been a push for many years to make it an official.
You don't have one
documented thing.
You don't have one.
If you would have let me finish my comment, I would have
Piers is just being retarded at this point. He's being retarded.
Pointed that out. That people have been pushing to make it official.
Okay, right, so you're trying to make official.
This attitude that you have right here is why you in Great Britain have lost your culture. You ceded your culture to a bunch of radical Muslims who came in and took over, and now it's gone. We're not allowing that here. Whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Muslim, it's not happening in the United States of America. That's why President Trump was elected. And whether it's Bad Bunny, who is American but refuses to speak English in his performances, or anybody else, we have to keep the Super Bowl, which is a quintessential American event. Football, that kind of football, is ours. They call it American football. And the halftime show and everything around it needs to stay quintessentially American. Not Spanish, not Muslim, not anything other than good old-fashioned American apple pie. There should be a meatloaf, maybe some fried chicken, and an English-speaking performer. That's what the Super Bowl should be.
Absolutely well said. Love seeing her fired up like that, and she's absolutely right. And that was kind of my feelings on it. Today on Geeks and Gamers Daily, I thought Ryan made a very good point that, like if you want to bring Bad Bunny in for the World Cup, I think that is more representative of that. But when you talk about the Super Bowl, this is an American event, and it should be treated as such. And having Bad Bunny do this in a foreign language where most people couldn't understand it, it was 100% a slap in the face. That's what it was. And especially knowing where he stands and all the stuff he's been saying, especially his Grammy speech and all of that, it's just ridiculous. So NFL's going global, bro. That's always what their focus has been. That's what all of these companies are obsessed with. How can we get a bigger audience? And this is how they ultimately fail every time. It's how NASCAR fell off the map. It's because NASCAR at one point in time, not too long ago, was considered the fastest growing sport in the country. And it's because it focused on its roots. And, now it's just like a shell of itself. And it's because NASCAR was too busy trying to reach beyond its the audience that made it what it was. And we're never going to see, NASCAR recover from that, unfortunately. I mean, look where, again, NASCAR's initiative to go global was to embrace people like Bubba Wallace. Do you know what would have made NASCAR go more global? By having people like Dale Earnhardt as the face. Again, Dale Earnhardt was everything that made NASCAR great. Like, I've got this clip right here. Okay, this is from the Daytona 500 in 97 when Earnhardt flipped his car, got out of the car, saw it was wrecked, and still wanted to finish the race.
Down the back straightaway. Big trouble. Earnhardt out. Up and over, number 3. And for the 19th time, Lady Luck deals a bad hand. And he's climbing out again. Truly a remarkable American hero, stymied another time at Daytona.
What a pile of grit. Earnhardt is in the car. He's barking instructions to the crew. They're trying to tape the left rear fender on. It's barely hanging on. They're taping the hood on. The roll cage has been sandpaper. NASCAR apparently has declared he must have a spoiler, so they're going to now try to get the back deck on the car. There's nothing mechanical holding it on. They're going to have to tape it on. I got an ambulance, and I looked.
Ambulance.
I said, man, the wheels are still on that
Got
thing.
an ambulance.
I got out of the ambulance and asked the guy inside the car, and he was hooking it up. I said, see if they're cranked. And he cranked it up. I said, get out. Give me the car back. So I drove it back around here, and we taped it up. And it's just, it's frustrating for me, for the guys that work so hard. Everybody works so hard on the team, and getting these race cars down here will run good.
This guy will take you global. Now, obviously, rest in peace to the great Dale Earnhardt. Only a few years removed from that is when he died at the end of the Daytona 500. But the overall point there is that, this taking it global bullshit, yeah, that's fine. But you can't take something global by stripping away the foundation in which made it popular to begin with. And that's what these companies do every single time, is they think we're going to open up our marketing to bigger demographics, and we can't offend them by having this shit. Dude, Dale Earnhardt was John Wayne. He was Clint Eastwood. Everybody loves those guys. Like, that's a guy that you want to build everything around, that type of mentality. And I know Earnhardt died in 2001, but that mentality, that type of person, that's who you want to build everything around. And that's what will continue to grow you. So the NFL is doing the same thing that NASCAR did. I don't think that the NFL is going to fall like NASCAR fell. But the point being is that you're slowly starting to lose the thing that made you popular, by pandering to people that don't care about the sport in the beginning. And if you're changing the sport in order to pander to people that don't care about it, well, number one, you're losing the people that did care about it in order to pander to people that don't care about it. The people that care about it, they may care about it if you have a specific marketing strategy that caters to simply them and them alone. But the moment that you move away from that strategy in any capacity, that person will lose interest immediately. Somebody said it just like Star Wars, exactly like Star Wars. Exactly. And now look where Star Wars is. It is completely dead and irrelevant. Star Trek is another one, completely dead and irrelevant. Stop pandering to people that don't care about your shit because they will not sustain it. They will not be there. End of discussion. Minister Ronte says, does Nancy have a YouTube channel? I bet Elon is live right now selling Bitcoin on it. Probably so. The Weasel says, stop sleeping with my mom tax. Hail everybody. Well played, sir. Eric K says $2 to get a better host. A boy named Blue says, just finished the first session of this new psychologist. He looks like Ryan. It was surreal. Getting psychological help from Ryan. You know, speaking of that, and I'm still trying to figure out how to work this, but we do have a subreddit for CobraCast, and I've been trying to learn how it works. And you guys have been posting some stuff over here. Somebody posted this meme of Ryan, and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, this is what, welcome to the subreddit for CobraCast. This is the shit that you're going to see right here. What does it mean? I don't know. I have no idea, but there it is. So yeah, there it is. If you guys want to go and follow it, there it is in the pinned post right there. I'm still trying to figure out how this shit works. I might be taking volunteers for some mods over there. We'll see. Apparently Discord made a huge decision today that's pissed off everybody about face and ID recognition or something in order to use Discord. I'm not sure exactly, but you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. JDT199 says CobraCast is CobraCast number 199. Maybe. Lying Dog Face with a gifted membership. Zero says, did you hear Ryan donates 10% of supers to the NAACP? He's a nice guy. He's a very nice guy. Daniel Moore Business says, meeting SB soon. Any questions you want to ask? He's trying to create the Irish Trump. Not for me, but maybe somebody else in the chat has any. Nasa says, I'm rewinding this. It'll be in my bunk. Nubbin, what's up? Nubbin in the house says NFL wants to go global and more popular. Correct. How you doing, sir? Good to see you in the chat. Cole Howler says, let Megan be GOP chair. They will sweep the midterms. 8 o'clock says, just like iDubbbz. Oh, iDubbbz. What a horrific fall from grace that iDubbbz had. Dude, it was so bad. I couldn't believe how bad it was. Okay, what is this right here? Hang on. Okay. Breaking. Judge Tracy Davis cuts in half a 65-year recommended prison sentence for a rapist kidnapper. She portrayed his as a black victim, even he wasn't buying it. All right, hang on.
But Judge Davis thought the jury's recommendation was too long. She feels he hasn't mentally matured yet and never had a real shot at getting any help early in life.
But if you were to come in here and instead of being hurt and angry, which is what this court hears, right, as a 20-year-old African-American male that has been, experienced this society, etc., and you would show that, yes, okay, this is the situation. This is who I am. I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to be in jail for forever.
Thompson repeatedly stated he did not care, not about his sentence, the victim, or her family. But Judge Davis emphasized she's the one that holds the pen.
This is fucking wild. This is DEI and identity politics in a nutshell. This is a perfect example of it right here. It's right here on Front Street, right here.
And regardless of what the media may think, she applies the law. To her, 65 years was an extremely long time. As she puts it, it's his whole life, one she doesn't believe should be spent entirely behind bars.
This court does not believe that Mr. Thompson, if given the resources that he can get while incarcerated, is beyond being rehabilitated.
But Judge
This does nothing but incentivize bad behavior. That's all this does. This incentivizes it. This person that committed these crimes, and not only him, but other people that are seeing this, are just incentivized to go, yeah, I'm not at fault for all of the horrible things I've done. Society did this to me. No accountability whatsoever. None. Absolutely disgusting. Like every single person watching that should be completely disgusted by this. Completely disgusted. Holy crap. That is next level. Yeah, I just saw that on my feed, and now I'm just like, I want to say a lot of words, but can't say those words. Not on YouTube anyway. But I will say them. I will certainly say them off air, because they are good words. Very good words. Fucking hell, man. What a freaking disaster. Okay. Let's see where we are. Daniel Moore says SBSD Bannon. Okay, I got you. Vault 199 says left is always reaching for power and never has enough. True. Mike Zero Sources didn't know your tracking, but Black and White Sports gave you a shout out today. Oh, yeah. I mean, Black and White Sports are friends with us. I mean, those guys are great. So they appear on Sports Wars and everything. So that's good stuff. Hail to them. Drew says, I was literally typing a long message here about the Discord thing to warn you, but you mentioned it as I was typing. So here's $10 anyways, Fig. Well, thank you. Yeah. The Discord thing has it's been a pretty big reaction. I haven't looked too much into it yet, so let's pull this up. Discord. I mean, Discord sucks anyway. And I don't mean like the platform. I'm just talking about like, you know, hang on, let's see. Discord will age restrict users from certain features starting next month unless the user sends a face scan or an ID. And then here says Discord is rolling this globally, not limited to the UK. I don't think I will trust trust me, bro. So this is a bad situation right here. Discord is a leftist company. They've been a leftist company for a long time. The platform itself is really good. So why is the Reddit private? I don't know. I'm still working through it. Like at first I'd put it for not safe for work, and then I changed that. So I'm just trying to figure out how to work this Reddit. So I'm not saying it'll remain private forever, but I'm just trying to understand Reddit. I don't understand Reddit. This is the first time I've ever used it. Yeah, so this will be a big problem for Discord. Now they have such a massive control of the market. What was that other one for Discord? What was the other site that Discord was? It was Discord, kind of like Discord or whatever. Somebody will say it in the chat. Not TeamSpeak. Gilded. That's it. Gilded. And is Gilded still around? Is Gilded still a thing? That was kind of a competitor there for a while, but it's dead. Gilded's dead. Discord overthrew Skype, but Skype sold to Microsoft. Jeez. MySpace. TeamSpeak fumbled so hard. I wish I was using it back in the 2000s. Telegram's still good. I've never used Telegram. I've never used, what's the other one? Signal, I think. Never used Telegram or Signal. So I don't really know what 199 needs its own chat program. Listen, that's the thing, man. I've said for a long time, like, the only way that we could actually do what all the possible things, if I just set up a direct link that people could just fund, just send us, as much as they wanted to send us and give us the opportunity to fund as many projects as possible. Like that's the only way that we would be able to afford to do anything like that. These companies all have like the amount of money that it takes just to run the website right now is pretty expensive for geeksgamers.com. But now I think that it will come around full circle. Right now I'm losing my ass on the website. That's not a complaint. I knew that I was going to be losing my ass. But I think that once everything starts taking place and we start building that following up, I will start making money. But that's just part of it. That's the price of business. That's how it is. But like to run a site like Discord is insane. I couldn't even imagine what it costs to run something like Discord with all of the details and the communication and all of that. It's crazy. By the way, I do want to bring this up. So I told you guys there was this idea that's out there that was presented to us. Basically, the short version of this is the idea is someone brought this idea to me, someone that I'm connected to here in Orlando. And at first I shot it down. I was like, no, that's stupid. There's no way we're doing that. But the more that they've tried to sell me on it, and then they got people involved on the team and started to explain to them the benefits of it. In short, they have pitched this idea of doing a convention at sea. Yes, that's right. A cruise convention. Now, what's interesting about this is if we could sell 3,000 rooms. Now, I'm not saying we can do this at first. This may take several years. But hypothetically, if we could sell 3,000 rooms, we would control the entire ship. Think about that. The entire ship would be controlled by the Fellowship and the 199, meaning every stage show, music, everything would be controlled by us. It would be 100% ours. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it takes all the red tape out of the equation of insurance and permits and all of that shit. And so this is kind of what's been presented. And so I'm looking at that going, this is the way to do it. Like, we could actually do this shit if we, now, some of you may know this, but like there are like a lot of like, there's a lot of people that do this, like bigger stars and shit like that. Like Chris Jericho does a professional wrestling cruise. Like he does that. Like they have these where other people have done this, but nobody in our space have done this. So we're looking at something like, if I was to pull the trigger on this, it would be like pushing it all the way to like middle of 2027 to give everybody time. So anyway, that's what's being floated out there as an idea. I think we could sell a couple of hundred rooms for the first run, but it's about building upon it. And so if we could get to a point where maybe we could sell 1,000 or 2,000 rooms, we would have the majority of the ship where we could do a live panel of Friday Night Tights. We could do a live panel of, Tuesday night's main event. We could do a live panel of CobraCast. We could do that type of stuff. I've been on cruises that have Starlink, and Starlink internet is really good on these ships. So anyway, that's the idea that has been presented to me. And there's been a lot of back and forth, and I'm a lot closer of like seeing the potential now than I was at first. Cause at first I was like, no fucking body's going to do this. Nobody's going to do this. And they were like, look, man, here's what you don't understand. Yada, yada, yada. theoretically, if you were to sell this many rooms, then all of a sudden you guys would control the entirety of the ship. And I'm like, okay, now that sounds cool. If we actually had that much of the ship, but we're talking about an astronomical amount of tickets needing to be sold. So anyway, that's the idea. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah. Let's see. Trapped with each other at sea. Yeah, could you imagine me having to walk around a ship full of you motherfuckers and everybody's like, hey, Jeremy, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, Jeremy, what do you think about that? Hey, Jeremy, hey, you're gay, Jeremy. Hey, you know, I would probably not make it through the entire cruise. I'd probably go hang out with Nancy Guthrie at this point. I'd probably go insane. So oh man, I'm not sure I would make it. What's that one? What's that Netflix thing about? There's like this girl that was like jumped overboard on a cruise or something like that. I'd probably do that. I'd probably done. I'd be like, I can't take any more of you mother effers. I'm done. Cole Harris says, here's another inward pass for life authorized by me. Thank you, Cole. Mar Miller says, sweet. We get a wrestling stream with the cruise now. Hey. But hey, how many of you generally, like, again, I think most of you know, like, cruises are not cheap, but they also, like, everything's included. But Con Cruise, how many of you would be interested in that? Let's see. A 199 Con Cruise. How many of you would seriously consider, if you had over a year to plan, and there will be a lot of attractive women there. Okay. Just saying. There will be a lot of attractive women. Yes, I know how to sell this. I will make sure there's a lot of hot ass women there. Trust me, I know how to sell this. I know what will happen. So I will make sure there's a lot of hot women. Let's see. Look at Quarter Black. Look at that. Quarter Black says he's down. See? Quarter Black in a bikini? That's not going to help sell no tickets, Quarter Black. I'm trying to sell tickets, bro. Ain't nobody coming to see QBG in a bikini. All right? Let's keep that on the down low, bro. Okay? Alive hot women, Jeremy? Be specific. Mar Millen says, I'd have to bring cash and randomly throw tens at you to continue grift taxes. Let's go. Peter says, had to pitch in again when I found out you were losing on the site. Respect, bro. Hail the 199. Hey, and I don't mean that like I don't want anybody to think the site's doing wonderful. It's an investment. So I'm not saying when I say I'm losing, it's like it's an investment. Anytime you have an investment going, you're investing with the belief is and what the team we have and the job that they're doing and everything we have rolling out. I do believe it will come back full circle, but that this is all part of the process. So I'm not complaining at all. Daniel Moore says, as long as Beardo isn't sailing. Roger Sam says Disney would missile strike that cruise ship. Not says only if Jay is our pirate captain. Guinea Pig with a fanny pack says only Crocs allowed on the ship. Bro, I'll be rocking some Crocs. Daniel Moore says mutiny on the USS Bro Island. Evil Black Cat says that cruise would be wild. Make sure Ryan doesn't bring his own boombox. Dancing fan, and you just know he'll pick a fight over the last fried chicken. Shaka Zula says, when will the G&G cruise be a destination cruise to Bro Island? No, I will step in and make an executive order on that. YouTube is run by Marx. It says, as a running gag, every one of Ryan's meals on the cruise would have to be made wrong. Nubbin for 20 says Alaska cruise would be interesting. Lol, Jeremy already pimping. You're damn right. Look, man, it's a realistic possibility, and if we, again, I think that the bottom, like, if we could get a commitment of 200 to 300 rooms that would sell, and I mean rooms, so it has to be like that many, not that many people, that many cabins would have to sell. That would make it to where it could be a venture that we wouldn't lose our ass on, and then we could build upon that. Cole Ellis says, I could be Ryan's first mate. He was in the Navy. SBZ says, 3K G&G members going to spend the whole day on the cruise debating with Beardo on what is a sport. Tokefest says, a 199 IDOT. I know that ratio is off. Twisted Jack says, gay. And over on Rumble says, Bronson Knight says, let's see. I mean, they're asking for 6 million, Lamau. Bad Bunny sounds retarded and unintelligible. Even in Spanish, just me. Also, NFL has been airing games on Spanish channels. It ain't working. They like football. Lag says green screen tax. Green screen tax. Evil Black Cat says all aboard the USS Sausage Party. No, hot women will. But am I froze again? Am I frozen? Am I froze? Camera froze? Camera was on the whole time, eh? All right, are we back? Lapco says, so we end up in the middle of the ocean, and Jared says, I am the captain now and suddenly knows how Bitcoin ransoms work. 8 o'clock says, Beardo reading lessons. All night on the cruise. If we ever get to a point where we could pull off and get the heavy majority of the ship or the majority of the ship, I promise you, I will have a panel with Ryan Kennel teaching Beardo how to read. And you are all invited. Panel with Ryan Kennel teaching Beardo how to read. Boom. That would be perfect. Zwani says there will definitely be a documentary made about it. Let's see. Tokefest says, I'm only on the cruise if there's snorkeling off Little St. James. I think we're going to steer clear of that area. Just saying. Are we going to have Switch 2 games on the cruise? Hell yeah, we will. Hell yeah. Poop Cruise Part 2. Poop Cruise Part 2. There you have it. How many do I have any new requests for? Oh, we do. Okay. I'm approving people right now on the Reddit board. And I just made the rules as generic as possible. I just said follow Reddit TOS. That's about the best I can do. Just follow Reddit TOS. Damn, there's a lot of people joining, man. Holy shit. Okay, there we go. All right, so thank you guys. Daniel Moore says, I'll bring Bannon and set him loose. We'll pass on having Bannon on. We'll pass. Okay, well, I appreciate all of you. And Nubbin says, why are you so gay? What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about?
It was all about, well, you know, gay bathhouses and everything. It's all about round the clock sex. It's all, come on, man.
I can't find the Reddit. It's in the pinned post. So, Timmy says, can Beardo read supers over the cruise's PA? Oh my God. Do you know how good that would be? Seriously. Do you know how good this would be? Bro, this would be amazing. Everybody on the ship would have to fucking hear it. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Ted says a boat version of WWE Flight from Hell. Little Jose says, watch the armored car video. It looks like heat. Okay, what is this armored car thing you guys are talking about? Okay. Armored car. Let's see here. Is this it? I'm searching right now. I mean, I see where was it at? Where's the armored car take place at? Italian Highway. Okay, is this it right here? Is this what you guys are talking about?
Guarda, 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 guarda.
What the fuck? What is that? Is that what we're supposed to be reacting to? What did I just fucking watch? What just happened?
Stanno rubando il furgone, guarda. Guarda, 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 guarda. Guarda. Hanno rubato il furgone. Guarda. Guarda.
Holy
Cristo
shit.
santo. Hanno fatto scoppiare in diretta. Guardali, 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 guardali. Guardali.
Is that Nancy Guthrie right here? Is that Nancy Guthrie?
Guardali. Guardali.
That's wild. Holy crap. That was insane. I was not prepared for that. Let's see here. Okay, we got that. Wait, what is this? I can't watch that probably. Wait. Maxwell? Ghislaine Maxwell pleads the fifth during her deposition. This is her right here. We got video of it right here. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Isn't that how Lookner does it? Breaking news, breaking news.
Ms. Maxwell, were you a close friend and confidant of Jeffrey Epstein?
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related questions. My habeas petition is pending in the Southern District of New York. I therefore invoke my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Ms. Maxwell, did you at any time play any role in Jeffrey Epstein's activities involving the recruitment, grooming, or trafficking of young women or girls?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Ms. Maxwell, have you ever coerced, directed, or otherwise instructed any young woman or girl to provide sexual favors to Mr. Epstein or any other individual?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
I mean, ultimately, this is the only path for her, given where she's at. I mean, look, this is a horrible human being who is, should not be even on taxpayer dollars at this point in time. But with that said, she has information. She wants to use that for leverage. That's the game right there. And by the way, I'm not confirming nor denying if that's Nancy Guthrie next to her. I don't know.
Ms. Maxwell, did you and Jeffrey Epstein attempt to surround yourselves with influential individuals to curry favor and shield yourselves from potential scrutiny?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Ms. Maxwell, can you please provide us with all the names of other additional co-conspirators to the crimes perpetuated by you and Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Ms. Maxwell, is it your intention to answer every question put to you by the committee today with the assertion of your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
The answer to that is yes also. So just as her lawyer, I'll tell you, yes, that's her intent.
So there you have it. Exciting stuff. Very, very exciting stuff. So just nothing but pleading the Fifth. This is about as useless as and exciting as a Ted Cruz press conference where Ted Cruz will get up there and tell you everything you want to hear. Then in reality, nothing happens. So that's kind of the same point there. Ted Cruz has a little more showmanship to it, but that's that. One thing that I'm sure many of you have seen, Nubbin says my Fifth Amendment tax. Thank you, Nubbin. I don't know if you guys saw this the other day, but Harry Sisson was asked directly a question. Listen to his answer.
What's the question for Harry? I know the question.
Okay, are you willing to do what Maura Healey asked the citizens of Massachusetts to do and house illegal immigrants in your own home? Because she asked us to do that. Okay. I wasn't willing to do that, but I was wondering with you and your great heart.
And that's exactly the point I'm about to make. You're very easily entertained. You with the White House, very easily entertained. So you're making the point I was about to make, which is it's voluntary. She's asking citizens to step up if they want. Nobody's forcing you. And by the way, we already have programs. Be quiet. You right there. Be quiet.
The question is, will you?
I know. I'm getting to it. I'm getting. Just be quiet. I'm getting to it. If you listen. He says he's going to get to it. I'll believe him for now. Okay. So you don't have to. It's voluntary. By the way, we already have programs where people have sponsors in the United States of America. Those are programs that existed under Donald Trump and Joe Biden, now Donald Trump. So you can have a sponsor. This is nothing new. What your governor is talking about is nothing new. So I don't know why you're taking particular objection to that.
Because she's encouraging it. She's calling on people to do it as an active measure.
It's voluntary, correct?
It is.
Okay, great. No problem. So the government's not infringing on you. The government's not infringing on you whatsoever. It's voluntary. And unfortunately, I will not be taking anybody in because I have a 1-bedroom in New York City. It's very expensive. So
hold on, you have a 1-bedroom?
Yeah.
You don't have a studio?
No, I do not.
A lot of New Yorkers have studios.
Well, it depends on where you live.
It depends on where you live. Yeah. But if you live, where do you live? Well, you don't need to say. I don't want you to die.
I could say it.
But you have a 1-bedroom.
Yes, I do.
A lot of people have studios in New York, so you have an extra room.
No, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I don't have any space. Unfortunately, for now, I don't have any space. But
typical liberal right there. They always virtue signal and project this shit onto everybody else. But then when they themselves are faced with the reality of the bullshit that they spew, this is the response we get. Well, I don't have enough room. Like, I wish Michael Knowles would have said, fair enough, Harry, you don't have enough room now. In the future, will you commit right here, right now, that when you do have a house that has an extra room, will you commit to opening that room up for an illegal immigrant right now? Just commit to it. When you have a spare bedroom in your home, will you commit here in front of the world that you will open your home up to an illegal immigrant in need? Of course he won't. Of course he won't do it.
if you have space in your home and you want to play into a program that we've already had for a very long time, you can do so, but nobody's forcing you to take anybody in your home. Nobody's forcing you to take anybody or in your home.
Wow. To hear I live in a 1-bedroom in New York and I don't have any space. That's a mansion.
Well,
in New York.
you're from New York. You know New York. There's no space in New York. My 1 bedroom's a shoebox. You know
Is
that.
that okay, man? I don't think,
You've never seen
I don't
it. But
think these migrants, I don't think they need a lot of space. You know, you give them a nice little bed anyway.
If you could have told me years ago that Michael Knowles might be the most likable person at the Daily Wire, I would have said, there's no way. Michael Knowles has always been the most irrelevant guy at the Daily Wire. Michael Knowles is probably the most likable guy at the Daily Wire now. I can't believe that, but it's true. He really is. Certainly isn't little Ben Shapiro. I mean, Matt Walsh is even more likable than Ben Shapiro at this point in time, but I do. Michael Knowles has actually come off as like the most likable, relatable guy at the Daily Wire. And that's a shocking thing. Let's see. Got that one. Boom. Let's see. John Jones says Cobra Concordia. Daniel Moore says that was me, my bad. All good. Soundwave says Titanic 199 edition. Hashtag no more beardos. No one says no more backup from Dems. So my Fifth Amendment tax. Harry Sisson is an arse boy. Marmillan says the moment you lock your doors to your home, your entire no one is illegal is absolutely performative BS. Don't know about you, but I lock my shit up because it's mine. Absolutely. 100%. MAGA Mike's is going to tell my grandkids this is Kim Jong-un. The Grand Duke says, I got room, but only for big booty Latinas. God, I hope this cruise doesn't go to Bro Island. Daniel Moore says, if you watch his show, he's incredible. And Nubbin says, Knowles is definitely likable. He really is. I always kind of viewed Michael Knowles as kind of like the most irrelevant member of the Daily Wire, but he's absolutely come off as super likable. So, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is keying in on Canada right now. As everyone knows, the country of Canada has treated the United States very unfairly for decades. Now things are turning around for the USA and fast. But imagine Canada is building a massive bridge between Ontario and Michigan. They own both the Canada and United States side, and of course, built it with virtually no U.S. content. President Barack Hussein Obama stupidly gave them a waiver so they could get around the Buy American Act and not use any American products, including our steel. Now the Canadian government expects me, as the president of the United States, to permit them to just take advantage of America. What does the United States of America get? Absolutely nothing. Ontario won't even put U.S. spirits, beverages, and other alcoholic products on their shelves. They are absolutely prohibited from doing so. And now, on top of everything else, Prime Minister Carney wants to make a deal with China, which will eat Canada alive. We'll just get the leftovers. I don't think so. The first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup. The tariffs that Canada charges us for our daily products have for many years been unacceptable, putting our farmers at great financial risk. I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them. And also, importantly, Canada treats the United States with fairness and respect that we deserve. We will start negotiations immediately with all that we have given them. We should own perhaps at least 1/2 of this asset. The revenues generated because of the U.S. market will be astronomical. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Teflon Don, baby. Let's freaking go. Trish says, Beardo leg day workout on the boat. You guys are coming up with a lot of crazy ideas, and I love it. MAGA Mike says, fun fact, Michael Knowles started out as the lowest level coffee maker at the Daily Wire and rose to the top of the company. He's brilliant. He absolutely is. Daniel Moore says Clavin is great too. His comedy is hilarious. I don't watch him. I know a lot of people like that guy, Andrew Clavin, but I don't really watch him. So, but yeah, man, Trump is letting them know he ain't putting up with it no more. So, let's see. Got that. Nubba says 47 being 47. Adam says, hear me out. Geeks and Gamers is side scrollers to put together a halftime show next year. I think you guys could make something awesome. I'm going to put our resources, if this cruise thing happens, that's where all the resources are going to go. And obviously I'll be working with Gary and Drinker and Ripa and everybody. So that's it sounds like there's a lot of interest for this. So I am excited to see what the next steps will be. Packy Proton says Savannah kidnapping feels like a Jesse Smollett situation, maybe organized by the district. Distract talk about the files drop started around the same time. I don't think this is. Listen, I know that there's a lot of theories about distractions and stuff like that, but my whole thing is I don't think that this is a distraction, because Fox News is about the most prominent media that's talking about this. I'm not saying that other media isn't talking about it, but Fox News is really going ham on this story. I just think that this is a shady situation that the family is caught up in, and I don't think that it has anything to do with a distraction. However, it is interesting that TMZ got the ransom notes. That part is interesting. TMZ getting the ransom notes. Right when the Epstein situation drops on Harvey Levin. So, I don't know. What is this right there? We got that. I'm trying to see. I had another thing I wanted to talk about before we ended. She's dead somewhere. Yeah, she's dead. My guess is she's dead somewhere in the vicinity of one of the family members' homes. That's what I think. Unless, of course, they took some tips from Breaking Bad. By the way, I got to say right here, this video will probably make Krista happy. Here we go.
Patriot, vampire, nationalist, mental retard, eugenicist, a scared man. Really? Retard.
Why is Wario a retard?
Really? Retard. Traitor. Vampire. Next level. Moses. Patriot.
Nubbin with a proper 199. Let's freaking go. Nubbin in the house. You know what? It's that time, ladies and gentlemen. Sydney Sweeney in the house. Everybody celebrates when Sydney Sweeney shows up. Everybody gets happy. The chat gets happy. The chat gets excited. Everybody likes it. Everybody accepts it. Everybody loves this. Everybody. There's just nobody that disagrees. It's impossible to disagree with that right there. I think it is anyway, in my humble opinion, that is. There we go. All right. What is this? What? Dude, I swear, I'm not kidding. I thought this was a scene from The Dark Knight Rises. I legit thought this was from The Dark Knight Rises. The Hudson River frozen. I legit thought this was The Dark Knight Rises. Holy crap. Light it up. That's crazy. Death or exile. Telling you, man, the more as time goes on, the more that The Dark Knight Rises looks like a documentary. I'm telling you, The Dark Knight Rises is a fucking awesome movie. I will die on that hill. I love it. I know it has problems that the first two Nolan Batmans don't have, but The Dark Knight Rises is awesome. That's freaking crazy looking though, man. You're right, Jeremy. Dark Knight Rises is a great movie. I love it, man. I do. I do know the problems, though. I acknowledge the issues on it. I like memeing on it. I like laughing at it. But it is an awesome movie. Iconic, to say the least. Let's see here. There was one other thing. That wasn't what I was wanting to talk about. The Alex Jones thing was not, but I saw that. I'm like, I got to show everybody this Alex Jones clip because it's just way too good. Because it is. Oh, this right here. Here we go. All right. So bar owner, hang on. Bar owner stands his ground after customer came up to him and asked why he's playing the TPUSA halftime show and not the Bad Bunny halftime show. Need a damn in there? Oh, you got it, sir. You got it. Here we go.
Damn! Damn!
Boom. Okay. So bar owner stands his ground after a customer came up to him and asked why he's playing the TPUSA halftime show and not the Bad Bunny one. I have not watched this clip, but we're going to check it out. Here we go.
I came here for the halftime show. The whole experience. Why aren't you playing Bad Bunny at the halftime show?
Because I put this halftime show on. Because this is what the majority. If you filming me,
yeah, I'm filming you. Why are you doing that? Why didn't you play Bad Bunny?
Because the majority.
I'm gonna pay.
Get out.
I'm gonna pay first.
Luke, this is why.
I gotta pay.
This is why I said no.
I gotta pay first. But I'm asking a question. I'm not being violent. Yeah, I gotta pay first. I shouldn't pay because I came here for the full experience.
What's your tab on there?
The fullest Super Bowl experience.
Okay, what's your tab on there?
All right. I came here for the full Super Bowl experience. Are you the bouncer? Are you the manager? Are you the bouncer, the manager?
He's the manager.
All right, I'm speaking to him, not you. You do what you do, and I talk to him. I came here for the Super Bowl experience. The full Super Bowl experience.
This is the halftime show.
This is not the halftime show.
This is the halftime show.
No, this is not.
It's called the halftime show.
We're at the zoo, and the zoo refuses to play Bad Bunny for some reason during the halftime show. They want to play somebody else. All right? I'm going to put this on my social media.
There you go, baby.
Good.
All right?
There you go. There's your tab. You have a good night. Thank you.
Make this bar famous and successful. That's what we got to do.
You might lose a lot of customers because you might look like a racist. All right? You might look like a racist.
So do you.
Why?
You're a racist.
Why?
You're complaining about the show.
This show right here.
All right, can we do me a favor?
He said, so do you.
I have a bunch of other things that we have to
I came
do.
here for the Super Bowl experience. This is not part of the Super Bowl.
So don't come back.
This was not promoted.
So don't come back.
Oh my God. Steve, listen, this is how you have to treat them. You just let them know, I don't care. I don't care if you're offended. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Because the moment that you do show that you care, they're like piranhas where they just sense the weakness and they just, start attacking. But all you need to do is show them like, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. You can be offended. Don't care. So what are you going to do? Fuck you. It's really it. Like, and you can't get like really worked up. You can't start screaming. You can't start yelling. You're like, okay. Yeah, I'm a racist. Okay. Yeah. I agree. He did kind of look like Shane O'Mac. He did. The bar owner looked a little bit like Shane O'Mac. Little bit of Shane O'Mac vibes there. Look at there.
I lose a lot of customers because you might look
Tell me that I don't like Shane O'Mac. Let's go. Packet Proton says, that was a distraction from TMZ hitting the files a few days ago. Stupid phone. Maybe there are orchestrators, hence Juicy Smollett. Mega Mike says, huge. I have relations with women and sex with men energy. 1000%. This guy that's doing the recording has that energy. Vic Chavez says, owner handled that man child exactly how needed. Yes, that's exactly how it had to be dealt with. And this is how they have to. These people are fucking crazy. But I think that's the last thing I wanted to cover. Hang on. Let me make sure. By the way, subscribe to D-Day Cobra 2. We're almost at 30,000 subscribers over there. That channel's doing great. I really appreciate all of you checking that channel out and supporting us over there. Well, you know what? We do have I don't think anything's going to happen with this deadline. But I don't think that so. I mean, I know this deadline's coming up. I don't anticipate anything actually happens with the deadline. That's why I'm not too worried about it. I know it's supposed to drop here in about 25 minutes, but I don't anticipate anything happening. I think that the time is just going to pass. So I'm just not expecting anything. So what I will say is if anything does happen, I'll probably go live later tonight if anything happens. I'll keep an eye on it, but yeah, dude, look at this. To give you an idea of what the terrain looks like once you get outside of Tucson. Yeah, it's called Breaking Bad. That's it. Breaking Bad. Just literally Breaking Bad, dude. Holy shit. This is crazy, man. So yeah, so the deadline for the second ransom, which is still weird because you didn't meet the first deadline, but apparently there's a second deadline, which makes absolutely no sense to me, which I still feel is a made-up thing anyway. I don't really believe that there is a deadline. I don't believe there's a ransom. I don't believe that there are kidnappers. I don't believe any of that. I do believe that something bad happened, but I believe that that's something bad happening. The family is very much aware of what happened. And I believe that the kidnapping is a distraction based on all of the available information that we have right now. But that's just me speculating until we find out exactly what's happening. So with that, we're going to call it there. Thank you guys and gals so much. Really do appreciate it. So right now, after 1,200 votes, 71% of you are interested in a 199 con cruise. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. I like it. So thank you so much. Check out geeksandgamers.com for more updates on all things pop culture related. The crew is doing a great job over there, and always happy to see more articles dropping throughout the day. And you can also find that RSVP link right here on the website. So make sure you go check that out. Other than that, have a great day, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.